Historic Site and the National Park Service.
Right now at 5, kids in Pittsburgh get together and test their strength.
We've got a pretty calm start across the area this morning, and it's going to stay that way at least through today. Hopefully it's not forecast.
And whoever says old dogs can't learn new tricks hasn't been to the Jasper County Fair. We take you there for the fair's dog show.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5 a.m. I'm Tanya Bach.
I'm Chris Warner. So we've got ourselves, it's a pretty calm start across the area this morning, and it's going to stay that way through the majority of today, but there's a couple of changes on the way. We have some rain chances out there at least, but not many, at least not right now. Hopefully that'll change because we so badly need some rain across the 4 states. So let's take a look down the road. As we head into this afternoon, we are looking at clear skies and pretty toasty conditions. We could see a few passing clouds, but the future track is not broken. There's just nothing for it to track as we head into the future, unfortunately. And then we go into tomorrow morning. That's when we could see maybe a scattered shower or storm across the area. So we take a look. Here we are at 9 a.m. Again, these are going to be fairly isolated, primarily confined to southeast Kansas, and they'll be gone by about 1 o'clock. But at least there's some kind of rain chance out there. And then we'll have some additional rain chances later this week, but not much. All right, MoDOT camera, 20th in range line. We are looking good this morning. And as we look at the KDOT camera at 69 and East 520th, looking all right as well. And from our camera at 7th in range line, well, it's still dark. But don't worry, the sun will rise. We're not reporting any sky conditions from the airport in Joplin, unfortunately, but I can tell you, I looked outside earlier. It is clear across the area. Cool, too. Look at that, 61 degrees. You think that's cool? This is the second week of July. We've got upper 50s for some of us. 57 Nevada, Fort Scott, Iola, 58 Yates Center, Chanute, 57 as well in Pittsburgh. 61 Chitopa, 63 Miami, and some 61s Carthage, Neosho, Anderson, and Monette. Now, as we get our morning started, again, maybe a few passing clouds out there. Otherwise, not bad. Getting into the low 80s by late morning. And the heat does begin to return, though. Temperatures today looking to make the low 90s this afternoon under mostly clear skies. And as we head into this evening, we'll hold on to mostly clear skies across the area, and we'll stay warm as well, but we'll eventually start to make it back down. We got upper 70s by 10, and we're looking at lower 70s, upper 60s for our overnight lows tonight. So not too bad, but not quite July-like across the area. So we'll have those isolated thunderstorms again for us on Tuesday. We'll go low 90s. Wednesday, we're looking at the possibility of pushing into the mid to upper 90s across the area. We'll hang on the mid 90s, and we'll start to see more scattered thunderstorm chances Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday across the area. The one nice thing is they at least bring the temperatures back down. As we head into next week, though, after a brief break once again from the heat is turned back on as we head toward the middle of next week. Temperatures looking to climb back into the mid-90s. Tanya?
All right, thanks, Chris. A 2-vehicle rollover crash near Sarcoxie ends with MedFlight landing on the highway about 10:15 Sunday night. Reports of a 2-vehicle crash near I-44 were called in to Jasper County 911, Sarcoxie City Fire, Sarcoxie Rural Fire, Mercy Ambulance, and Jasper County deputies responded. Missouri Highway Patrol and MedFlight were notified as well. The 2 vehicles were westbound. A Kia ended up on the median with a person ejected, while a Dodge Journey came to a rest on the north side of the interstate in the ditch. A total of 8 people were transported for medical care, and 1 person was airlifted. The crash is under investigation as a DWI. Authorities are searching for a wanted man out of Cherokee County, Kansas, who they say is armed and dangerous. Authorities say 61-year-old Charles Amos stole a 2015 Chevy pickup at gunpoint from the owner on Sunday. They say Amos ran out of fuel in a stolen van out of Oklahoma and then went to a farmhouse in western Cherokee County and stole the truck. The owner of the truck confronted Amos, but police say Amos then fired 2 rounds from a sawed-off shotgun at the owner. Cherokee County Sheriff David Grove says this picture is what the truck looks like. However, the actual truck has tinted windows. Once again, the suspect is considered armed and dangerous. If you have any information on him, you are urged to contact the Cherokee County Sheriff's Office. Authorities in Cherryville, Kansas arrest a 14-year-old for homicide. Police say they responded to a shooting on Friday around 1:30 p.m. at 21079 Douglas Road in Cherryville. When they arrived, they found 74-year-old Thane Anderson dead from a gunshot wound to the head. Cherryville police immediately requested assistance from the Kansas Bureau of Investigation. Authorities determined the suspect to be a 14-year-old male who was arrested. The investigation is still ongoing. A woman in southwest Missouri dies from injuries sustained in an ATV crash. The Missouri Highway Patrol says the crash happened Saturday night. They say 34-year-old Kayla Carroll was driving on Northwest 7001 road just south of Highway 52 in Butler. She went off the side of the road before hitting a fence, rolling over, and ejecting from the ATV. One man is dead after being hit by a car on I-70 near Sedalia, Missouri. Authorities say 34-year-old Damon O'Ray was driving west when he stopped and left his car. 22-year-old Jonathan Kaiser was driving behind Ray and attempted to veer left and hit Ray and his car in the process. Ray was pronounced dead at the scene. Well, some kids in Pittsburgh got the chance to put their strength to the test. It was for the Eagle Rising Challenge. The event was a chance for residents to meet and compete with local fire, police, EMS, and military personnel. The goal of the activities was not only to connect with the community, but also to show the new generation's essential careers.
Shows the kids that there's something to look forward to, that they can look up to pursue in the future for them to help the community.
Those who did not want to compete still had fun checking out the military vehicles and equipment. Well, it's a good time to teach an old dog some new tricks at the Jasper County Youth Fair. The Youth Fair is hosting a multitude of animal shows this week, with Sunday's focus as man's best friend, dogs. But dogs are not the only animals getting the spotlight. The Jasper County Youth Fair hosted events for horses, rabbits, and livestock, as well as other adorable animals. Some kids have a favorite event to do with their dog.
What I mostly like to do with him is rally, which is where they have these signs and you just walk up, do whatever it says. Like it says a 360 turn, you do a 360 turn.
The fair continues through the week. Well, some folks in southeast Kansas are putting their vocal cords to the test. The Pittsburgh Public Library hosted an All Together Now sing-along event. The program lets music lovers get together and enjoy an afternoon of fun by singing along to beloved golden oldies songs. Sing-along leader JT Knoll says group singing like this can also be good for your health.
They've even done studies that show that people who sing, they've taken studies of their cortisol and their immunity before they sing and afterward, and their immunity goes up after group singing. So that's one thing we'd like to happen.
The sing-along was free and open to everyone. No better way to beat this heat than to go out and do some swimming. The Berserker Swim Organization hosted its annual swim meet at Joplin Schifferdecker Pool. More than 500 swimmers take part all across the Midwest. The meet offers an opportunity for participants to qualify for the upcoming long course championships held later in the month. Organizers say the Berserker organization caters to swimmers of all ages, from preschool to high school.
We get a lot of kids in the pool. It is so important, and we hope that once they try swim lessons, they give swim team a try, because it's a great family sport.
They also provide swim lessons and training for elite level swimmers. That's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News, the Mink League holds its Home Run Derby. We'll have who won with Chris in sports. Plus, on Friday, fans of Prince got to enjoy 2 new songs from the artist, as those 2 songs were released from Prince's vault. And HPV does not just affect women, but it affects men as well. We'll have why men should also be aware of HPV. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back.
Last night was the Mink League Home Run Derby, which is being held at the Mink League All-Star Game in Chillicothe. Joplin Outlaws outfielder William Kelly participated, and we think fans will find out he did pretty well. William Kelly dominated this event. Kelly is your Mink League Home Run Derby champion this year from the Joplin Outlaws. Kelly hit 9 home runs in the final round of the Derby to claim the prize. He was selected to be in the Home Run Derby, but not the All-Star game. Here's what Kelly had to say about his performance.
I was just expecting to come out I wasn't expecting to win at all. I was just coming in here to see how many I can hit. Then during BP, my swing was feeling a little bit off. So I went to the cage and just hit a few. Then as soon as I got in the Derby, it just felt so much more smooth and more fluent. It was kind of like, I was thinking that don't try to do too much. Just go up there and be me. Just swing the bat and just be more fluent instead of trying to force it out. Just let it happen. Let my hands work, and everything just worked out.
Speaking of the Mink League All-Star Game followed up from the Home Run Derby. 9 players from the Joplin Outlaws being represented this year. 5 players from Nevada Griffins are also in the game. Joplin's Colton Reynolds got the start in the outfield, while Nevada's London Penland and J.C. Berry got the start in the infield. But the Mink League South All-Stars led the Mink League North All-Stars by a final score of 7-1 in Chillicothe. Well, still to come, new information about a tomb discovered in 2008 comes to light. We get another check of that forecast and when we might see some rain chances when the KOAM Morning News returns.
Tax credits and savings. GoPaschal.com.
Nominate your Fort State hero today.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. 5:16 now on this Monday morning across the 4 states. Today, we've got a pretty straightforward day. We're looking at mostly clear skies. Temperatures start heating back up as we head into the upper 80s, lower 90s across the area. And we will stay clear as we head through the evening and into the overnight hours. So a pretty decent night for us. Then we'll head into tomorrow morning where we'll see the possibility of maybe a few scattered showers and thunderstorms, primarily in southeast Kansas. So here we go, 8, 9 o'clock. They're isolated initially. They'll go widely scattered by mid-morning, and they'll again be confined to southeast Kansas. And by 1 o'clock, they are done for the day, and we will be left with hot conditions. Temperatures, more of us getting into the lower 90s under partly cloudy skies as we go through the rest of our Tuesday. MoDOT camera 20th in range line looking good so far, waiting on a little more daylight out there, and same from the KDOT camera at 69 and East 520th Avenue, of course just south of Pittsburgh, Kansas, and our camera at 7th in range line looking all right so far. Again, for whatever reason, sky conditions not officially being reported in Joplin, but I can assure you it is clear and cool. 61 degrees out there this morning, looking pretty good out there. Calm breeze, not a bad start to the day. And if you can't believe this, or if you can believe this, it's almost the middle of July, a second week here. We've got upper 50s out there. Iola, Fort Scott, Pittsburgh, Lamar, Chanute, Nevada, all in the upper 50s. Even Yates Center getting in on some of this pretty chilly weather for July. Then we go into the lower 60s for the rest of us. 61 Chautauqua, 63 Miami, and some 61s Carthage, Neosho, Monette, and Anderson. Now, despite this chilly start, it's still going to heat up today. Again, by late morning, we're looking at temperatures in the low 80s under sunny skies out there. And we head into the afternoon, we're looking at upper 80s, low 90s, plentiful sunshine. So make sure you're taking sun precautions out there as the UV index is going to be up there. We're looking at low 90s again, upper 80s, mostly clear skies, maybe a passing cloud or two. We go through the evening and again, fairly straightforward out there. As you can see, we'll stay mostly clear through the evening. Got a great night ahead of us. Temperatures dropping back into the upper 60s, lower 70s. So just a pinch warmer than where we are this morning. And as we look down the road, not a lot going on as of yet. We've got those thunderstorm chances tomorrow, low 90s. We're looking mid-upper 90s by Wednesday. And then we're looking at additional scattered thunderstorm chances by Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So these will be scattered, but something we'll keep an eye on. We're hoping that we can get a little more rain out of this than what we have seen here lately. And the other plus side, at least, to some of these scattered storm chances is our temperatures. Yeah, they get warm and they get hot for a bit, and then they'll cool back just a little bit back through the upper 80s and lower 90s as we head into the upcoming weekend. Well, 2 new Prince songs have left the vault at Minnesota's Paisley Park, giving fans something to celebrate on Friday. Reg Chapman reports.
Prince's new take on an old favorite, 7 E-flat version, was released today. The original track 7 was on the Love Symbol album.
It's amazing. It's hearing something that you're sort of familiar with, but it's a totally different vibe. It's in a different key. It has a whole different feel. It's got a bass solo at the end. It's really cool. It's just something that I would have never expected to hear.
Jim Novak is a music buyer at Electric Fetus, one of Prince's favorite record stores. He says it's kind of special. This song was released in the 7th month on the 7th day. All Prince fans know 7 was his favorite number.
7's everywhere, and it's just part of his personality, part of the magic that was Prince.
Today's the 7th. Yes, okay.
Travel blogger Robin Steele was in town on the day of the releasing, making her trip truly special. Like father teaches, like son do. All Is Shared Together, now recorded in 2006, has never been released in any form. For Prince fans, this too is a treat to hear on 7/7. We found 2 Canadian Prince fans taking pictures of his mural in downtown Minneapolis, excited to hear more from their favorite musician.
Hopefully maybe some outtakes where he's playing guitar more.
The new music from MPG Records, in association with Prince's Paisley Park, is part of the emerging Prince Vault series. Folks over at the Electric Fetus are anxiously awaiting for this new music to be available in LP and CD form.
If there's something to sell that's Prince related, we will definitely bring it in and have it in our shop, but for now, it was just a surprise online, and yeah, the Prince fans are going to be coming here, and we're going to be talking about it all weekend for sure.
That brings us to our question for you this morning. What's your favorite Prince song? Nothing Compares to You, Gold, Little Red Corvette, 1999, When Doves Cry, Purple Rain, or maybe another song we didn't list? Well, we want to hear from you. Make sure you take time to vote through our website, through our app, and take part in the discussion on our Facebook page. We will be back with Health Watch right after this.
Thursdays, July 6th, 13th.
To register today.
Topping Health Watch this morning, a new report by experts at Harvard Law and New York University indicate the risk of zoonotic diseases are staggering. Zoonotic diseases are those that spread from animals to humans. Health experts believe Americans use too many animals for commercial purposes, and they also believe the regulations that could prevent outbreaks are not adequate. Zoonotic diseases account for roughly 60% of all known infectious diseases and 75% of new and emerging ones, and that's according to the CDC. This new report explains there are at least 130 live bird markets in the northeastern United States alone, and roughly 25 million birds pass through them every year. More than 42 million Americans are infected with the human papilloma, or HPV. And the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention says nearly everyone will be infected with the virus at some point in their lives. Some HPV infections can lead to cancer in both men and women. But health experts say many people may not know their risk. Mandy Gaither has one man's survival story and why he says awareness may save lives.
When Glenn Moog first noticed a lump on his throat, he didn't think much of it.
As it kept getting bigger, I kept trying to convince myself that it was just an infected lymph node.
But when the lump kept growing, he saw a doctor and learned he had stage 4 throat cancer, despite what he says is no history of any cancer in his family.
You automatically think the worst.
Moog says his cancer was caused by HPV, a virus that spread through intimate skin-to-skin contact, even if there are no symptoms. The CDC says most HPV infections go away within a couple of years, but others last longer. In the U.S., HPV causes about 36,000 cases of cancer each year in both men and women.
I didn't know anything about HPV virus, and I didn't know that it caused, throat and neck cancer to men in their 50s.
In the next decade, experts at the Ohio State University Comprehensive Cancer Center predict HPV-related throat cancer will be the most common type of cancer among those ages 45 to 65.
They didn't have the opportunity to get the Gardasil vaccine or the vaccine against the human papillomavirus. So they've already been exposed.
That's why Dr. Matthew Old says it's critical for this age group especially to know the symptoms of back of the throat cancers, which often start with a painless lump in the neck.
They could also have a sore throat, trouble swallowing, weight loss, or changes in their voice.
The cancer can be treatable. After radiation and chemo, Moog is doing well.
I'll never be 100% back to normal from treatment, but at least I don't have cancer.
CDC says the HPV vaccine prevents new infections but does not treat existing ones. And that's why it's most effective when given early. Right now, 2 doses are recommended to be given at ages 11 and 12. Agency says adults ages 27 through 45 can talk to their doctor to see if they'd benefit from getting the HPV vaccine. The CDC says people who are in a long-term mutually monogamous relationship are not likely to get a new HPV infection. And that's a look at some of today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
We've got ourselves a sunny and hot day across the 4 states. There are at least some scattered rain chances in our future. We'll take a look at that forecast when we come back.
Right now at 5:30, the town of Bronson, Kansas bands together and celebrates the town.
We've got ourselves a sunny and hot day across the 4 states. There's at least some rain chances in our future. We'll talk about that forecast coming up.
And folks in Columbus, Kansas celebrate with the 2nd annual Freedom Fest.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's now 5:30. I'm Tanya Bach.
I'm Chris Warner. So we've got a pretty chilly start out there this morning. I don't know if you noticed, but it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
I mean, for July, it's pretty
turned my
chilly.
AC off and the temperature up in my car this morning.
Yeah, it's an unusual thing to have to do the 2nd week of July. I don't think anybody's complaining about that by any means. If only we could get a little more rain down here and keep these nice, cool temperatures, I think we'd have ourselves a pretty good July. Unfortunately, though, that's not going to be the way it works out. Now, as we head through today, these cool temperatures will eventually go away, and we'll start to warm up upper 80s, low 90s across the area. But as you can see, future track from noon to 6. It's not broken. Temperatures are moving. There's a few clouds trying to move, but there's just nothing really going on today. Tomorrow morning, however, we'll see a few more clouds, and we're looking at the possibility of at least some isolated to widely scattered thunderstorms through the morning hours in southeast Kansas. These won't live very long. They'll be dead by about 1 o'clock, and then we'll be left with partly cloudy and hot conditions for the rest of our Tuesday. Let's take a look outside. MoDOT camera, 20th in range line, looking back to the west, and we're looking good so far this morning, and we're looking all right from the KDOT camera at 69 East 520th Avenue, pointed roughly back to the north, just south of Pittsburgh. And our camera, 7th in range line, we've got clear skies out there, 61 in Joplin, so a pretty cool start for us across the area. And take a look at this. It is the 2nd week of July, and we've got upper 50s out there this morning. 57 in Pittsburgh, 58 Iola, Fort Scott, 59 Lamar, Nevada, Yates Center. We got 60 Parsons, 59 in Chatopa, 61 Miami, Neosho. So this is not a very July-like start at all, but don't worry, if you like the July weather, it's coming right back for us. We're going to be mostly clear with mostly sunny skies out there, going in low 80s by late morning today. Yeah, it's going to be warm again. We're getting upper 80s, low 90s across the area. Could see a few passing clouds here and there. Otherwise, not bad. Unfortunately, though, that also means the UV index is going to be high, so make sure you're taking precautions out there for your skin. Make sure you're staying safe. And as we head into the evening, we will eventually drop back into the upper 70s by 10. We'll hold on to mostly clear skies overnight and get back into the upper 60s, lower 70s. And then we'll really start to warm up. So aside from those thunderstorm chances in southeast Kansas tomorrow, we're going to go low 90s, mid to upper 90s possible by Wednesday. And then we've got scattered thunderstorm chances for us Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And at least the one nice thing about these scattered thunderstorm chances is while they're going to be scattered, so unfortunately we're not going to see all of the rain we need, it does keep our temperatures a little cooler back through the upper 80s and lower 90s. Tanya?
All right, thanks, Chris. Severe storms swept through parts of Oklahoma early Sunday morning, bringing flooded roadways and wind damage. And damage included downed power lines and debris from floodwater across the metro Oklahoma City area. Several thousand Oklahomans are reported to be without power. Missouri Governor Mike Parson signed a tax cut into law. He said this cut is why he vetoed most of the spending items he cut from the state budget last week. The new law exempts Social Security benefits and public pension payments from income tax. Officials say it will reduce state general revenue by more than $300 million annually. It'll also allow counties to hold a vote on whether people 62 or older should be exempt from increases in their annual property tax bills. A new report highlights public school districts violating state law by not properly distributing millions of dollars in funds marked for students at risk of failing academically. This is the second report in 4 years on the topic by the Kansas legislature's auditors. The State Department of Education had provided districts a list of 272 at-risk program options. Auditors say the programs they looked at did not meet statutory criteria and are calling for a new list to be made. Well, folks in Columbus, Kansas celebrated our nation's freedom over the weekend. Columbus Fire Department hosted its second annual Freedom Fest at the city park. Some of the events included turtle races, a water balloon toss, a cornhole tournament, helicopter rides, and more. But it all started with a 5K and a kids fun run. Officials say 50 people turned out for the 5K.
So the Rec Commission is co-sponsoring this, and we did have a $100 random prize drawing for any 5K finisher. So it's real important to get out and get active, and that's just what we're trying to promote here.
The fire department also cooked hot dogs and hamburgers for everyone. Well, the town of Bronson, Kansas also celebrated over the weekend. Saturday marked the 49th annual Bronson Day, featuring a variety of events, including a horseshoe pitching contest, a parade, kids games, a cakewalk, cornhole, and a basketball tournament. Organizers say the event is designed to celebrate their small community and togetherness.
It's really just about community and bringing everybody back home. Like most small towns after the railroad left, a lot of things left this community, and so this allows everyone to have something to come back to and join together.
The event capped off with a fireworks show. Well, a car show in Pittsburgh raised money for kids in need. It took place in the parking lot of the Walmart Supercenter. Dozens of vehicles were entered, and there was also a booth set up with snacks, water, and other items for sale. Now, those sales and the registration fees will benefit the Children's Miracle Network hospitals.
There's a lot of car shows that go on around here, and so we were able to venture out and talk to different group leaders, and we were able to get a turnout. And so our goal is to raise as much money as possible to send over to Freeman Hospital over in Joplin.
The winner of the car show received $200, but the fundraising did not stop there. The Southeast Kansas Princesses hosted an event in the Walmart parking lot with a photo booth, face painting, street art, cornhole, and more. The George Washington Carver National Monument celebrates the life of Carver and the establishment of the park.
Swing low, sweet chariot.
To honor 80 years, the National Park invited guest speakers, local jazz musicians, and even a traveling children's theater from North Carolina. According to park rangers, the National Park witnessed many changes over the years, but its impact on the community stays the same.
Well, there's been a lot of changes to this park. We've added on to the visitor center. The visitor center is a lot larger. We get a lot of visitors here. We get a lot of kids here. So the impact is really good, and we just want to continue to celebrate this wonderful individual's life and his legacy.
The event lasted from 10 to 3 p.m. on Saturday. Well, this morning we're discussing Prince and the release of new songs.
Yeah, Prince's new take on an old favorite, 7 E-flat version, was released last Friday. The original track, 7, was on the Love Symbol album. It's kind of special. This song was released in the 7th month on the 7th day. All Prince fans know 7 was his favorite number.
Interesting. All A Share Together Now, recorded, I'm not sure if that's right, Share Together Now, let's go with that. Recorded in 2006, has never been released in any form. For Prince fans, this too is a treat to hear on 7/7. The new music from the MPG Records in association with Prince's Paisley Park is part of the Emerging Prince Vault series. So were these released on the 7th of July, I'm guessing?
Yeah, but last Friday would have been the 7th of July, see? So they released some new ones that were in that vault there. And that brings us to our question for you this morning. What's your favorite Prince song? So you've got a number of options out there. 33% of you say Gold. Another 33% of you say 1999. And another 33% of you say maybe it's something that's not on that list. So make sure you take time to vote through our website, through our app, and take part in the discussion on our Facebook page.
Forgot about When Doves Cry. That's a good one.
It is. It is.
All right. That's a look at our top news stories. Coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News, the mythical creature known as the hodag runs rampant across the state of Wisconsin. Or does it? We'll take a deeper dive into this creature to find out if it's real or if it's a hoax.
Plus, North Korea joins a list of countries criticizing Japan for its wastewater release plan. We'll have the latest.
You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back, but first, here's a live look from Lincoln Park in Pittsburgh, Kansas, in honor of National Picnic Month. That's a picnic table right there. Topping World Watch, an apartment building previously ordered closed collapses in Brazil. Building collapse happened in the town of Paulista. Authorities say 14 people were killed from the collapse. 5 children between the ages of 5 and 12 were among the victims. 3 injured people were pulled from the building. 4 others living there were found outside the building. Former residents say they had to leave the building in 2009 after a court order condemned it and closed it, but the building became irregularly reoccupied in 2012. The legal status of the building and the residents living there is not clear. Japan's plan to release treated wastewater from the Fukushima nuclear power plant is drawing more criticism, this time from North Korea. Pyongyang released a heated statement called the Move Evil and the Anti-Humanitarian. Japan will treat the water to remove pollutants. Then it'll be released gradually in highly diluted form. That process will begin sometime this summer. New research shows a lavish tomb discovered near Seville, Spain in 2008 actually belonged to a woman and not a man as previously thought. The tomb was discovered in 2008 and contained an elephant's tusk, an ivory comb, crystal dagger, an ostrich eggshell, flint dagger inlaid with amber, and a skeleton. Scientists analyzed the pelvis bone and initially identified the 5,000-year-old skeleton as a probable young male and dubbed the remains the Ivory Man. But according to a new study published Thursday in the journal Scientific Reports, researchers used a new molecular method and examined the teeth enamel in 2021. And that's when they discovered the Ivory Man was actually a woman. Study authors say they believe the Ivory Lady held a high rank, was revered by the society in which she lived, and she achieved her status through her own merit. That's a look at some of your biggest headlines from around the world. We'll be right back.
You spend, plus 5 years, no interest. But hurry, the extended 4th of July sale at Furniture Row ends soon.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News, 5:46 now on this Monday morning. Taking a live look at the MoDOT camera, and we'll come back to it in just a moment. Let's talk about today's forecast, though, because there's really not a lot to talk about, at least today. As we look down the road, by noon, we are looking at mostly clear skies, temperatures warming up, and we're going to go into the upper 80s and lower 90s across the area. And the future track's not broken because, see, there's a couple of clouds out there just to the east of Cassville. We're looking at maybe a few passing clouds. Otherwise, we are going to be sunny and hot today. Now, as we head into our Tuesday morning, we see some increasing clouds, especially in southeast Kansas, ahead of at least a few isolated to widely scattered thunderstorm chances through the morning hours. But as we head to about noon, 1 o'clock, those die out, and the clouds die out with them, leaving us just partly cloudy, and we'll be hot again tomorrow with more of us going into the lower 90s for our Tuesday. And even into our Wednesday, not a lot to talk about, unfortunately, across the area, other than just some cloud cover out there. Let's look outside now. Once again, MoDOT camera, 20th and range line, clear skies out there, getting a little more daylight. Great start to the day. Saved from the KDOT camera at 69 and East 520th Avenue, just south of Pittsburgh. And as we look at our camera at 7th and Range Line, here comes the sun. And as you can see, clear skies. Sky conditions not being reported right now from the airport, but that's why, thankfully, we have all these nice cameras that look outside for us. And we can tell you, it's clear and cool. 61 in Joplin. And if you think that's cool, man, for the second week of July, look at this. We've got upper 50s out there. And I double checked, it is July. It is the second week of July, but this looks more like we're getting into late September, early October. We have 57 Pittsburgh, 58 Fort Scott, Iola, Chanute, 59 Yates Center, Nevada, Lamar, and even in Chetopa, 61 in Miami, 62 Independence, 61 Neosho, Carthage, and 60 in Monette. Now, unfortunately, these cool temperatures will go away. We've got mostly clear skies this morning, going low 80s by late morning. Highs today, upper 80s, lower 90s. Again, maybe a few passing clouds, but otherwise sunny skies. And we'll hold on to clear skies as we go into the evening as well. Temperatures eventually making it to the upper 70s by 10 o'clock. Overnight lows, upper 60s, and some lower 70s out there as well. So we got those thunderstorm chances in parts of southeast Kansas tomorrow morning. Otherwise, partly cloudy, low 90s. Look at Wednesday, we're looking mid-upper 90s on Wednesday. Partly cloudy, hot out there. Overnight lows warming up too, upper 70s. Then we'll see some scattered thunderstorm chances as we go into Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and into our Sunday. And even though these are scattered and these chances aren't very high right now, the one thing they do is they help keep our temperatures in check. We start cooling back a little bit, upper 80s into the lower 90s. We're hoping that we can increase these chances at least a little bit and get a little more much needed rain in here. Once this clears out through the weekend, we could see some showers next Wednesday. Unfortunately, temperatures begin to return to summer-like weather as we start climbing back to the low to mid 90s by next week. That's Check Your Forecast. We'll be right back after this. But first, we've got another live look from Lincoln Park in Pittsburgh in honor of National Parks and Rec Month.
And employees for making us the best.
This year marks 130 years since the legend of the hodag began. Now, the hodag is a green beast said to be lurking in the woods of north central Wisconsin. Wyatt Williams explains the myth behind the unusual creature.
We're known as the home of the hodags. It's a part of us, and it's a part of everybody in this area.
In the woods of north central Wisconsin lingers a green beast with red eyes, large teeth, and razor-sharp claws. Its name? The hodag, created by a local prankster and logger.
In 1893, it was all logging up here, and there was a logger by the name of Eugene Shepard, and he was a prankster at heart, and he wanted to put Rhinelander on the map.
Word spread very quickly of the large beast, and when people wanted to see it, Shepard devised a genius plan.
He started telling these stories, and then word started to spread. And then they said, well, where is this creature? Let's go get it. Let's go capture it. And so he had his buddy carve up a log to look like this beast. And it has 13 spikes on it, and it's got short legs. Originally it was black.
Since then, the color of the hodag has changed to green. They brought the hodag to the local fair to show it off.
He had his buddy carve this log up to look like this creature, and they brought this thing to the Oneida County Fair, and they made its arms and legs move with wires and strings and stuff, and really just built up this story and gave these performances and really got people to believe in it and believe that he had captured the elusive hodag.
Shepard continued to get people to believe it, and it wasn't until someone from the Smithsonian came to town that he finally fessed up and admitted it was a hoax. Or so he said. The legend of the hodag still runs rampant, not just in Rhinelander, but across the state.
Well, here in the 4 states, there's a hunting season actually for Bigfoot in Oklahoma. I wonder if they have a hunting season for the hodag. We'll be right back. Now, one Arizona man picked up an extra passenger on his way to work recently. Only this hitchhiker needed some help to get out of the car. The Maricopa County Sheriff's Office posted about the incident on Facebook on Friday. They say the man was driving to work in Gila Bend when he hit a bobcat. Officials say he did not know that he hit the animal until he parked his car and heard some noise under the hood. After investigating, he opened the hood, saw 2 eyeballs staring up at him. Oh my goodness. The sheriff's office and the Arizona Game and Fish Department were able to sedate the bobcat before removing it from the engine compartment. Wow, it was not injured and was later released back into the wild. What a trip. Well, you've seen this face before. In Texas, the Vintage Flying Museum and the Fort Worth Rose Society unveiled a new Rosie the Riveter mural on Saturday. The Rosie Memorial Rose Garden honors World War II's Rosie workers who worked on the home front in North Texas. One of the original riveters, Grace Brown, attended the mural unveiling. Brown, who's now 101 years old, once helped construct aircrafts while men were at war. The Memorial Garden and Museum is now open for everyone to enjoy. And there's a new addition at the San Diego Zoo. First-time parents Adira and Lucas welcomed their cub back in June. Now, this panda is the first red panda born at the zoo since 2006. Zoo guests are getting a glimpse at the pretty panda July 6th when Adira entered her outdoor habitat with their new bundle of joy. Aww. The population of red pandas is said to have significantly dwindled over the past 50 years, and they're now listed as endangered. That's according to the International Union for Conservation of Nature Red List of Threatened Species.
We've got ourselves a hot and sunny day across the 4 states. Could see a few passing clouds. Even though we've got a pretty chilly start, we're still going to make it to the low 80s. We got to remember that it is still summertime, it is still July, and hot weather's not quite done with us yet, even though it feels like it this morning. Again, a few passing clouds, otherwise sunny skies, temperatures upper 80s, lower 90s this afternoon. Heading into this evening, a warm evening, and again, clear skies. We'll go back to the upper 70s by 10 o'clock. Overnight lows looking to be in the upper 60s to lower 70s across the 4 states. We could see some scattered thunderstorms in southeast Kansas between roughly, say, 8 and 1. And then those will clear out, low 90s, mid to upper 90s Wednesday. So very hot, and then scattered thunderstorm chances as we head into the upcoming weekend. Be back with more right after this.
Right now at 6, authorities respond to a 2-vehicle crash in Jasper County overnight and have to enlist the aid of MedFlight.
We've got a pretty nice start to our day. It's actually chilly out there, but it is still summertime. We're not done with the warm weather yet. We'll take a look at that forecast coming up.
And local kids take to the Rising Eagle Challenge in Pittsburgh over the weekend to prove they had the right stuff to become the next generation of community leaders.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. I'm Tanya Bach.
I'm Chris Warner. It is just after 6 a.m. It suddenly, to me, I don't know if it's the coffee we're on made or what, it suddenly feels like it's 11 a.m. I was not awake when I got here, and boy, I tell you what, I am wide awake now, and I'm only halfway through that cup of coffee. I don't know what happened, but
running and jumping through the studio.
What, Ron? I don't know what you've done with this coffee. You do it again. Okay, Ron says he's got it, so make sure you make this coffee the same way. By the way, we're almost out, so you better make some more here soon. Let's take a look at our forecast. Our forecast is very simplistic. I think our forecast knows it's Monday and says, hey, let's just ease into this week a little bit. Unfortunately, though, it means no immediate rain chances, although we do need the rain. Today, we are looking at clear skies, maybe a few passing clouds out there, and it's going to be hot. Even though it's pretty chilly right now, it's still summer, it's still July, and it's going to warm up once we head into the afternoon. Now, as we head into tomorrow morning, some of us, at least, could see a few stray thunderstorm chances. Say between 7 and 1 in parts of southeast Kansas. You can see where these scattered storms pop up and they try to roll off to the east. And as we head into the afternoon, they die out and then the clouds die out with them, and it gets to be nice and hot as we go through the rest of our Tuesday, and even hotter as we go into our Wednesday. MoDOT camera 20th and range line looking good so far, and same from the KDOT camera at 69 and East 520th Avenue just south of Pittsburgh, Kansas. And our camera 7th and range line. We've got some sunlight starting to show up out there. We've got clear skies. They're reporting sky conditions now. Again, we're at 60 in Joplin, 60 degrees on the second week of July. Can you believe that? And look at this, 57 Iola, Fort Scott, 56 in Pittsburgh, 58 Chatopa, Parsons, Chanute, Yates Center. Not a July start at all, but don't worry, it'll get there. We'll have those sunny skies. That'll allow us to get into the low 80s by late morning. Highs today looking to be the upper 80s, lower 90s across the area under clear skies out there, and we'll hold on to clear skies as we head into the evening, and we'll stay warm, eventually making it back into the upper 60s and lower 70s. Tanya?
All right, thanks, Chris. A two-vehicle rollover crash draws MedFlight support to Jasper County. Authorities say the crash took place last night around 10:15 near I-44, mile marker 30. The crash involved a Kia and a Dodge Journey. Now, the Kia ended up in the median, overturned with one person ejected. 8 people in all were transported for medical care. At least one person required MedFlight transportation. Authorities are investigating the crash as a DWI. A woman in southwest Missouri dies from injuries sustained in an ATV crash. The Missouri Highway Patrol says the crash happened Saturday night, and they say 34-year-old Kayla Carroll was driving on Northwest 7001 Road just south of Highway 52 in Butler. She went off the side of the road before hitting a fence, rolling over, and ejecting from the ATV. And one man has died after he was hit by a car on I-70 near Sedalia, Missouri. Authorities say 34-year-old Damon O'Ray was driving west when he stopped and left his car. 22-year-old Jonathan Kaiser was driving behind Ray and attempted to veer left and hit Ray and his car in the process. Ray was pronounced dead at the scene. A new tax cut coming to Missouri could have an effect on your finances. Missouri Governor Mike Parson signed the tax cut into law last week. He said this cut is why he vetoed most of the spending items he cut from the state budget last week. The new law exempts Social Security benefits and public pension payments from income tax. Officials say it will reduce state general revenue by more than $300 million annually. It'll also allow counties to hold a vote on whether people 62 or older should be exempt from increases in their annual property tax bills. The Sooner State continues to reel from weather woes. Severe storms swept through parts of Oklahoma early Sunday morning, bringing flooded roadways and wind damage. And damage includes downed power lines and debris from floodwater across the metro Oklahoma City area. Several thousand Oklahomans are reported to be without power. Parts of the Northeast are under a state of emergency. This morning, downpours led to intense flooding in New York State, where one woman died trying to leave her home as the water rose. Meanwhile, in parts of the South, still no relief from sweltering high temperatures. Jared Hill has the latest.
New England under flood watch. Sunday in Orange County, New York, suburban roads turned to rushing rapids after nearly a foot of rain fell. A woman in her 30s was killed, swept away while trying to escape. Water surrounded a synagogue about 40 miles outside of New York City, coming right up to the windows.
In this area, in this neighborhood, I think this is the first where the water actually came up this much.
In Norfolk, Connecticut, swollen waterways chewed through a bridge. Flooding closed a highway in Reading, Pennsylvania. All as the National Weather Service warned Monday about a considerable flood threat for much of New England, with special attention to Vermont and northeastern New York. The storms stalled flights at airports across the country, with thousands of delays and cancellations.
I got rebooked on a different flight today, so I had to stay overnight, but that flight is also canceled.
Meanwhile, parts of the South and Southwest are locked in a weeks-long heat wave with dangerously high temperatures.
It's not uncommon within 30 minutes to be unconscious from the heat.
Phoenix, Arizona is gearing up for an 11th straight day of temperatures above 110 degrees. Jared Hill, CBS News.
New York City's emergency notification system tweeted heavy rain could have life-threatening flooding to basements, instructing residents to prepare to move to higher ground if needed. Well, don't forget, you can be the first to know about the day's weather with the KOAM Skywatch weather app. Get severe weather updates sent straight to your phone, free of charge. It's available in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. It's called the KOAM Skywatch weather app. Well, some kids in Pittsburgh got the chance to put their strength to the test. It was for the Eagle Rising Challenge. The event was a chance for residents to meet and compete with local fire, police, EMS, and military personnel. The goal of the activities was not only to connect with the community, but also to show the new generation's essential careers.
It instills like a positive climate throughout the community, and then also for future, if that's something that they want to do, then we raise up public servants for the future as well. So we build our future.
I wanted to look at the military trucks and them doing the parkour stuff.
Eagle Rising Challenge was organized by the U.S. Army Reserve's 1011th Quartermaster Company. KOAM's Fernanda Silva has more on this story when the KOAM Morning News switches over to Fox 14 at 7. Well, some folks in southeast Kansas put their vocal cords to the test. The Pittsburgh Public Library hosted an All Together Now sing-along event. The program lets music lovers get together and enjoy an afternoon of fun by singing along to beloved golden oldie songs. Sing-along leader JT Knoll has been singing like this for a long time.
My history is just growing up with it. I had a family. My father sang all the time, my grandfather. I never took a ride in my grandfather's truck without him singing a song and asking me to sing along. So my whole life has been singing.
Sing Along was free and open to everyone. That's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News, why some players in one particular court sport find themselves in a pickle.
The popularity of pickleball is exploding. I'm Danya Backus with why the cost of injuries is also rising.
Plus, authorities hand down multiple charges to a New York man accused of randomly shooting people from the back of a scooter. And Chris returns with another look at your weather and when the 4 states can expect its next chance for triple-digit heat. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. More real news in the morning. We'll be right back, but here's a look from Lincoln Park in Pittsburgh in honor of National Picnic Month. Topping Nation Watch this morning, at least 15 people were hurt in a deadly Chicago City bus crash. Authorities say an SUV was driving on the wrong side of the road when it collided with the bus early Sunday. First responders treated victims and worked to extinguish the car fire at the scene on South Lakeshore Drive. Now, one of the passengers in the SUV was taken to a hospital where she was pronounced dead. The driver of the SUV and a different passenger were last known to be in critical condition. New details about that mass shooting in Philadelphia that left 5 people dead and 4 others wounded. Police revealed on Sunday the suspected gunman shot and killed his first victim nearly 2 days before he opened fire in a Southwest neighborhood last Monday night. Investigators say Kim Brady Carragher allegedly shot and killed Joseph Wama on July 2nd, some 44 hours before he went on the shooting rampage. Relatives did not find Wama's body until July 4th, and then detectives linked his death to the other victims shot. New York prosecutors say 25-year-old Thomas Abreu now faces a charge of murder and 2 counts of attempted murder. Police say he appeared to be shooting people randomly as he rode through Brooklyn and Queens. Astrid Martinez has the details.
Surveillance video shows the suspect pulling up to unsuspected pedestrians and shooting them in broad daylight.
Video shows that he's not targeting anybody, he's not following anybody. As he's driving on his scooter, he's randomly shooting people.
Police say after the first shooting on Saturday, they shared video of the attacks to the phones of every NYPD officer in what's called a critical message. In less than 30 minutes, the suspect traveled at least 8 miles, shooting people in 6 locations. He killed an 86-year-old man and wounded 3 others.
A firearm was recovered inside the scooter. The 9mm pistol had an extended magazine.
In Los Angeles, a similar crime. Police say a gunman used a rifle to shoot at people from his car in 3 neighborhoods, critically wounding a pedestrian. The gunman was later arrested.
Multiple shots fired.
The latest incidents appear to be a trend in urban shootings. Last week, a masked man opened fire at random in Philadelphia, shooting and killing 5 people with an untraceable gun.
Police in New York say the gun used in the scooter shootings does not appear to have a serial number. They're trying to determine if it's a ghost gun, similar to the one used in the Philadelphia mass shooting. As we mentioned earlier, parts of New York are dealing with massive flooding after heavy rains soaked the area on Sunday. Orange County in the southeastern part of the state was especially hard hit. County officials say a woman died after getting swept by floodwater. The spokesperson for the West Point Military Academy, also in Orange County, says people were trapped in their cars and had to swim to safety. The strong storms flooded roads and damaged property. Governor Kathy Hochul and Orange County executive both declared a state of emergency. Let's look at some of today's top national stories. Here's Chris with a look at your forecast.
We're not dealing with any flooding concerns down here in the 4 states. In fact, we're still dealing with some significant drought concerns out there and a lack of rainfall. We do have some rain chances possible this week. We'll take a look at that forecast and when the summer heat returns, when the KOAM Morning News returns.
A new Viber Catalina Clipper from H&K Camper in beautiful Columbus, Kansas.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. It is now 6:18 according to the clock in front of me on this Monday morning here in the 4 states. And we've got a pretty simplistic Monday for us. It's going to be warm, it's going to be hot, it's going to be clear. And I know that sounds contrary to what's going on right now. We'll talk about those current temperatures because, boy, it is chilly. It is the 2nd week of July, and it is pretty darn chilly out there. But it is still going to heat up, so let's talk about that. Here we are, Monday by noon, a few passing clouds here and there. Otherwise, we are looking at mostly sunny skies. And the future track isn't broken. I know this for 2 reasons. 1, the temperatures are changing. 2, the clouds, although they are few, are moving. It's just there's nothing going on today. I think Mother Nature said, you know what, it's going to be a Monday in the 4 states. Let's just take a break for a second, give these folks a moment, and then we'll shake things up as we head through the rest of the week. And that's what Mother Nature is going to do for us. So for the rest of today, it's going to be mild, it's going to be hot, we're going to see some passing clouds, otherwise not bad. Now we head toward tomorrow morning. We're going to see a few more clouds out there, especially in southeast Kansas, ahead of some isolated to widely scattered thunderstorms that are expected roughly between, let's say, 7 a.m. and 1 p.m. And you can see here they are. They try to get a few more of them going by mid-morning, but as we head to the afternoon, they die out and the clouds die out with them, and we're going to transition to partly cloudy skies across the area. We're going to be hot, and I can advance the future track all the way into Wednesday morning, and you can see other than some temperature changes, we're not looking at many changes in terms of the forecast, at least not yet. MoDOT camera, 20th and Rangeline. Sun starting to rise, shining on the Bel Air Center there as it looks roughly to the west-northwest. And as we look at the KDOT camera at 69 East 520th Avenue, it's looking roughly northwest. You can see the sun beginning to shine out there as well. And there's the sunshine on our camera at 7th and Rangeline. We've got a great start to the morning. You would not believe it was July, not with temperatures like this. We're sitting at 60 in Joplin. You think that's cool? Take a look to the north where it is a little bit cooler. We've got 57, Iola, Fort Scott, 56 in Pittsburgh, and it's July. It's the 2nd week of July, and this is more like October-ish out there. 58, Yates Center, Chanute, Parsons, Chatopa, 59, Neodesha, 61, Miami, and 60, Neosho, Monette, and Carthage. So a nice, very nice start out there. However, because it is still July and it is still summertime, we will warm up. Sunny skies will let us get into the the low 80s as we head into the late morning hours. By this afternoon, we're looking at highs goodness gracious, it is Monday, isn't it? We're looking at upper 80s, low 90s out there. Again, a few passing clouds. Same for the evening, a passing cloud here or there, otherwise clear. And we will be mild this evening, upper 60s, lower 70s. Now tomorrow, again, we've got those storm chances in southeast Kansas, otherwise partly cloudy, low 90s, mid, maybe even upper 90s for us on Wednesday under partly cloudy skies. And then Mother Nature said, you know what, you guys do need a little rain, and we're hoping we can up these rain chances, but we do have some scattered thunderstorm chances for us Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday across the area. Temperatures again hot briefly, and then thanks to the showers and cloud cover, we cool back a little bit as we drop back into the upper 80s and lower 90s heading into the weekend. That's Check Your Forecast. We'll be back with more of the KOAM Morning News right after this.
Topping Health Watch this morning, deaths caused by opioids in the U.S. rose 63% during the pandemic. A study published in JAMA Network Open found 1 out of every 22 deaths in the U.S. in 2021 was due to an unintentional opioid overdose. Doctors say this highlights the need for more resources for substance abuse treatment, particularly among men and young people. Smoke-free legislation is working, and that's according to a new analysis also published in the JAMA Network Open. Researchers who reviewed the effects of smoke-free laws found that they've led to significant decreases in deaths related to cardiovascular disease, respiratory disease, and even better outcomes for childbirth. Study's authors say the findings support the need to speed up the implementation of anti-smoking laws. Researchers in Japan find a new way to identify ovarian cancer. The disease is difficult to detect in its early stages when it can be treated more successfully. But a Nagoya University study used nanoroids to identify previously unknown proteins linked to ovarian cancer. Scientists hope the discovery will lead to doctors catching and treating the cancer earlier. As more Americans pick up paddles to hit the pickleball court, injuries related to playing the sport are growing. Treatment for injuries is adding up to hundreds of millions of dollars in medical costs. Danya Bacchus takes a look at the price tag.
Hundreds of picklers fill the courts at the Pickleball Open in Newport Beach, California. Among them are Mark Yoshizu and Mary Whithands.
The sport is really addicting. It's crazy how many people are playing.
Data from the Sports and Fitness Industry Association says the number of recreational players has soared from 3.5 million in 2019 to nearly 9 million in 2022. But the love of the sport can also come with pain.
I strained my knee, but it didn't stop me.
This year, medical costs related to pickleball injuries will climb to $377 million. Roughly 80%, or $302 million, will be players heading to emergency rooms and doctors' offices for outpatient treatment.
We've got wrist sprains and strains. We've got tendinopathies of the elbow. We've got rotator cuff injuries of the shoulder.
Dr. Jonathan Sum is an associate professor of clinical physical therapy at the University of Southern California. He says more serious injuries could mean surgery.
We could be looking at, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000, really maybe just in the surgery alone.
To protect your body and your bank account, he recommends players consult with a doctor before stepping on the court.
My PT said, you need to stretch, and, she gave me some exercises, and I haven't stopped since.
Because missing a day of pickleball is not an option. Danya Bacchus, CBS News, Newport Beach, California.
Pickleball has been around since the 1960s. The recent study found seniors make up about a third of the most avid players. That's a look at some of today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
Yeah, we've got ourselves a pretty chilly start across the area. It's hard to believe it is the second week of July out there. We are sitting at 56 in Iola and Pittsburgh, 57 Fort Scott, 58 Nevada, Lamar, Parsons, Chanute, and Yates Center, and 59 in Neodesha. Now, despite these cool temperatures that we have this morning, they are going to begin to warm up as we head into the morning and afternoon hours. In fact, we are talking a pretty toasty day with plentiful sunshine. We'll take another complete look at your forecast and let you know if there's any rain chances on the way and whether or not we'll hit the triple digits anytime soon when the KOAM Morning News returns.
Pascal.com.
Right now at 6:30, a new report from Kansas state auditors highlights millions of dollars improperly distributed in Kansas public school districts.
We've got ourselves a chilly start for the second week of July out there, but temperatures will warm up as summertime not done with us just yet. We'll take a look at your forecast coming up.
And summertime means heading down to the swimming pool to cool off. And for one area swimmer, it also means dressing like a Viking. We'll explain.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's now 6:30. I'm Tanya Bach.
I'm Chris Warner. So I don't know if anybody's noticed this morning, if you haven't been out yet, it is relatively chilly outside, especially if you're in our northern counties where we're talking upper 50s right now for some of us. And that's hard to believe for the second week of July, but it is a true fact. But it's not going to last very long because we are still in summertime. We are still in the second week of July, and that means temperatures will warm up. So as we head to today, it's a pretty basic day for us. We could have a few passing clouds. Temperatures are going to start to heat up out there. Otherwise, we're looking at mostly sunny skies and just some hot temperatures across the area. Now, as we head into Tuesday morning, we'll see a few more clouds in parts of southeast Kansas, and that's where we could see the possibility of some isolated to widely scattered thunderstorms, roughly between, let's say, 7 and 1. But as these thunderstorms roll off to the east through the late morning hours, roughly, they die out. Clouds die out with them. We go partly cloudy, and we stay hot for tomorrow. MoDOT camera, 20th and range line, showing us plentiful sunshine out there. And we're getting sunshine from the KDOT camera at 69 and East 520th Avenue, just south of Pittsburgh. Our camera at 7th and range line showing us that sunrise. Looks great out there, and it is a cool one for sure. We're sitting at 60 degrees in Joplin, and it's even cooler up to the north, as we were showing you earlier. Look at this. We got 56, Iola, Pittsburgh, 58, Lamar, Nevada, 57 in Fort Scott. We got 50s through a good portion of southeast Kansas, but then you go a little further south, a little warmer, 61 Chatopa, 63 Miami, Grove, Veneta, and Jay. And we're sitting at 64 Bentonville, 60 in Neosho. As we get our morning started, again, a few passing clouds, otherwise sunny skies, low 80s by late morning. And we're heading for highs today, upper 80s, lower 90s across the area under those mostly sunny skies. And we head into our evening, and we will stay warm once again. We'll stay clear as well, upper 70s by 10. We're talking overnight lows back into the upper 60s and lower 70s tonight. We do have some warmer weather on the way, as well as some thunderstorm chances this week. We'll take a look at that full forecast here in a few more minutes. Tanya.
All right, thanks, Chris. Authorities continue their search for a wanted man out of Cherokee County, Kansas, who they say is armed and dangerous. Authorities say 61-year-old Charles Amos stole a 2015 Chevy pickup at gunpoint from the owner on Sunday. They say Amos ran out of fuel in a stolen van out of Oklahoma and then went to a farmhouse in western Cherokee County and stole the truck. The owner of the truck confronted Amos, but police say Amos then fired 2 rounds from a sawed-off shotgun at the owner. Cherokee County Sheriff David Grove says this picture is what the truck looks like. However, the actual truck has tinted windows. Once again, the suspect is considered armed and dangerous. If you have any information on him, you're urged to contact the Cherokee County Sheriff's Office. Authorities in Cherryville, Kansas arrest a 14-year-old for homicide. Police say they responded to a shooting on Friday around 1:30 p.m. at 21079 Douglas Road in Cherryville. When they arrived, they found 74-year-old Thane Anderson dead from a gunshot wound to the head. Cherryville police immediately requested assistance from the KBI, and authorities determined the suspect to be a 14-year-old male who was arrested. The investigation is still ongoing. School funding in the Sunflower State might not be all it seems, according to a recent report. A new report highlights public school districts violating state law by not properly distributing millions of dollars in funds marked for students at risk of failing academically. This is the second report in 4 years on the topic by the Kansas legislators' auditors. The State Department of Education had provided districts a list of 272 at-risk program options. Auditors say the programs they looked at did not meet statutory criteria and are calling for a new list to be made. Anytime is a good time to teach an old dog some new tricks. But the Jasper County Youth Fair might be the best place for it. The Youth Fair hosts a variety of animal shows this week with Sunday's focus, man's best friend, dogs. But dogs aren't the only animals in the spotlight. The Jasper County Youth Fair hosted events for horses, rabbits, and livestock, as well as other adorable animals. And the dogs aren't only for show, though. They love to have some fun, too.
Probably run around and play with other dogs and people.
If you're not paying attention to her, she'll walk up to you and nudge your nose into your hand.
Contests, games, and more are also available for folks to check out. The fair continues through the week. The town of Bronson, Kansas also celebrated over the weekend. Saturday marked the 49th annual Bronson Day, featuring a variety of events, including a horseshoe pitching contest, a parade, kids games, a cakewalk, cornhole, and a basketball tournament. Organizers say the event is designed to celebrate their small community and togetherness.
It's really just about community and bringing everybody back home. You know, like most small towns after the railroad left, a lot of things left this community, and so this allows everyone to have something to come back to and join together.
The event capped off with a fireworks show. And a car show in Pittsburgh raised money for kids in need, taking place at the parking lot of the Walmart Supercenter. Dozens of vehicles were entered, and there was also a booth set up with snacks, water, and other items for sale. Those sales and the registration fees will benefit the Children's Miracle Network Hospital.
There's a lot of car shows that go on around here, and so we were able to venture out and talk to different, group leaders, and we were able to get a turnout. And so our goal is to raise as much money as possible to send over to Freeman Hospital over in Joplin.
Winner of the car show received $200. No better way to beat the heat and the competition than with some swimming. The Berserker Swim Organization hosted its annual swim meet at Joplin's Schifferdecker Pool. More than 500 swimmers took part across the Midwest. The meet offers an opportunity for participants to qualify for the upcoming long course championships held later in the month. And if you don't recognize the Berserker Swim Organization, it's because there's been a few changes.
So we changed the name of our team. We used to be Jasper County Killer Whales, but I've always been obsessed with Vikings, and I have a really great Viking costume. We changed it to Berserker, made the team Viking themed, gives me an excuse to dress up. Plus, at the meet, one of our special things we do is we have mystery heats, and if you win, you get a helmet with light up horns, and the kids absolutely love it.
Who doesn't love a Viking helmet? Organizers say the Berserker organization caters to swimmers of all ages, from preschool to high school. They also provide programs that cater to various skill levels, including swim lessons and training for elite level swimmers. That's a look at our top news stories. Coming up this half hour in the KOAM Morning News, little jobs for some big pay.
App-based delivery drivers could be getting a big pay raise in New York City. I'm Jared Hill in Manhattan with how this trend is taking shape across the country.
And we're going to take another look at that forecast out there and tell you just how warm it's going to be and whether or not we've got rain chances on the way. We'll do that when we come back, but first we got another live look from Lincoln Park in Pittsburgh in celebration of National Picnic Month.
In Consumer Watch this morning, Farmers Insurance has announced it will limit new home insurance policies in the state of California. In a statement, farmers blame severe weather events like wildfires and climbing costs for reconstruction. Follow similar announcements by Allstate and State Farm. Some consumer advocates say the companies are pressuring state regulators to approve rate hikes. Say bye-bye to Bye Baby. A bankruptcy auction failed to find a buyer for the baby goods business, meaning retail stores will be forced to close. But the brand may live on. A New Jersey-based company is seeking the rights to buy Baby's intellectual property. A hearing is set to approve the sale on Tuesday. And say I do with McDonald's. The I'm Loving It brand is getting into the wedding catering business, at least in Indonesia. Restaurants there are offering a wedding package with 100 burgers and 400 McNuggets for about $230. Not a bad deal. They'll even set up a stall at the reception to serve the food. The perfect start for a lifetime of Happy Meals, but French fries are not included. Well, a movement to pay food delivery drivers more faces a challenge in New York City. Companies like Uber Eats, DoorDash, and Grubhub are trying to stop a rule that would raise the minimum wage for drivers. Over the weekend, a judge temporarily blocks the wage increase, which was set to take effect on Wednesday. Jared Hill has the latest.
William Medina, a food delivery driver in New York, spends a lot of time on the road.
We have to work at least between 12 and 14 hours a day to get at least $140, $160.
This day, he's spreading the word to the nearly 60,000 delivery workers like him about a new rule. It's aimed at requiring companies like Uber, DoorDash, and Grubhub to pay drivers in the Big Apple about $18 an hour. Right now, the city estimates they make just over $7 before tips.
We have also families. We have to feed our kids.
The push for change comes amid growing criticism around how these companies compensate the gig workers, in particular, these delivery drivers.
The movement has already led to higher wage laws for gig workers in California, Washington State, and Seattle. In this case, Uber, DoorDash, and Grubhub are taking the Big Apple to court. DoorDash claiming the city's process was, quote, misguided and relied on dubious methodology, and warns it'll lead to price increases for you. UC Berkeley professor Michael Reich studies the issue.
When you're talking about a 6% increase in, say, a $20 trip, well, that's what, $1.50 or something like that. Let's not call it a big increase in prices.
Medina says his fight for gig workers is just beginning.
Are there other things that you all need?
Yeah.
Next, he wants rules guaranteeing insurance for drivers. Jared Hill, CBS News, New York.
Hopefully they already have insurance if they're driving their own vehicle. Well, Minnesota's legislature passed a bill in May that would have set a minimum wage for rideshare drivers. The governor, though, vetoed it after Uber threatened to halt its operations in greater Minnesota, outside of the Minneapolis-St. Paul metropolitan area. That's it for Consumer Watch. Here's Chris with another look at your forecast.
Yeah, we've got a really nice start for this Monday, July the 10th across the area. You would not believe it was July if you stepped outside right now, as we've been pretty chilly for the 4 states this morning. However, because it is still July and it is still summer, it does mean that we are still going to get hot. And we'll take a look at our temperatures for today, the week ahead, and of course talk about some possible storm chances across the area when we come back. Also, it's Monday. We get it. If you don't have Ron's coffee, you're probably not going to make it through the day. But to help you out, we're going to put some good in your morning with our daily celebration of birthdays and anniversaries. They're up after the break. But before we get to that and more of Ron's coffee, let's see what's happening on CBS Mornings.
I'm Tony DeCopel. Coming up on CBS Mornings, we are marking a week's worth of interviews for the release of Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1 with Rebecca Ferguson. She's back as Ilsa Faust. That is Monday on CBS Mornings.
Highway 60 west of Seneca, Missouri.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. Time for some Monday birthdays here in the 4 states, and we're going to start up north in Lamar with Kason Mori celebrating number 9. Happy birthday, Kason.
All right, Braylon Bartley celebrating birthday number 18 this year. She's the one in the black shirt there, and with her sister Allie. With love from Grandma and Grandpa. Happy birthday down in Wyandotte.
And we've got Nicholas Willis celebrating birthday number 22 over in Oswego. Happy birthday, Nicholas.
All right. Kiara, I never knew how to pronounce Kiara's last name.
Spravati.
Spravati. Kiara Spravati, former KOAM news assistant here, turned in 26 years old. Hope you have a wonderful birthday, Kiara.
And then the one person who really keeps this place running is Helen Kelly, our receptionist, popcorn chef, and she makes many other wonderful things throughout the day. And of course, she takes all of your phone calls when you call in. So if you do call today, make sure you wish Helen a very happy birthday.
We love Helen. I didn't know what I was going to do last week when Helen was on vacation.
So, I know, we were going to die. Helen can't take vacation.
No, we missed her. Not just because of the popcorn. We just truly missed her.
That's true. Very true.
All right. And Juanita Dopkins in Columbus, happy birthday.
And over in Prescott, Kansas, Larry Bloomfield celebrating number 71. Happy birthday, Larry.
All right, Maggie Fike Frankham is celebrating in Pittsburgh. Maggie is a U.S. Air Force veteran. We thank you for your service.
And last but not least, also in Pittsburgh is Jeannie Beck celebrating another year wiser today. Happy birthday to Jeannie. And we love celebrating with you. We tell you that every time. And we wanted to have you celebrate with us. Tanya, how do they do that?
All they have to do is send us a birthday to this email at birthdays Don't forget the S at KOAMnewsnow.com. Send your pictures, send your name, information, birth date, all of that for birthdays and anniversaries to that one single email.
And of course, while you're on our website checking out all the neat things on it, make sure you take time to sign up for the KOAM Birthday Club. You get special deals from local businesses. You also get a happy birthday message from your friends here at KOAM. So make sure you take time to sign up for the KOAM Birthday Club today. KOAMnewsnow.com. All right. Let's talk about our forecast. Now for today, it's pretty simplistic. A few passing clouds, otherwise sunny skies, and we're going to be hot today as temperatures continue to rise. And then we'll go into tomorrow morning, and that's when we'll see at least a few more clouds and an opportunity for some showers in parts of southeast Kansas. So roughly between, let's say, 7 and 1 p.m. tomorrow, we're looking at some isolated to widely scattered showers and thunderstorms for parts of southeast Kansas. And as we head into the early afternoon, those die out, the clouds die out with them. We go partly cloudy for the rest of the day, and we stay pretty darned hot. We'll have more rain chances later this week, but that's the nearest one that we have. MoDOT camera, 20th and Range Line, plentiful sunshine out there as we get this Monday morning started, and we can see all that beautiful sunshine from 69 and East 520th Avenue, the KDOT camera located there. And from our camera at 7th and Range Line, nothing but clear skies. We are chilly though for July. For July, it's pretty chilly, 60 degrees in Joplin right now, and across the area, we've even had upper 50s out there this morning. Still do. Iola, 56, 57, Pittsburgh, Fort Scott, 58s in Nevada, Lamar, Chanute, Neodesha, Yates Center, and Parsons. Good 61, Chatopa, 63, Miami, and some 60s in Carthage and Neosho. Now, as we get our morning started, temperatures will continue to warm up because even though it's pretty chilly out there this morning, it's still July. It's the second week of July. It's obviously the heart of summer, and it's going to get warm again. We'll have mostly clear skies. Again, maybe a few passing clouds going into the low 80s by late morning. And as we head into the afternoon, those temperatures will really fly as we go into the upper 80s, lower 90s across the area. And again, with just a few passing clouds, otherwise we are looking at sunny skies across the 4 states. We're going to take another look at your forecast, including what the week ahead has to hold, and we'll tell you about the news you need to know when the KOAM Morning News returns.
Your family. We're proud to salute Larry Lambath, a 4-state hero.
Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. A woman in southwest Missouri dies from injuries sustained in an ATV crash. Missouri Highway Patrol says the crash happened Saturday night. They say 34-year-old Kayla Carroll was driving on Northwest 7001 road just south of Highway 52 in Butler. She went off the side of the road before hitting a fence, rolling over, and ejecting from the ATV. Severe storms swept through parts of Oklahoma early Sunday morning, bringing flooded roadways and wind damage. Damage included downed power lines and debris from floodwater across the metro Oklahoma City area. Several thousand Oklahomans are reported to be without power. Missouri Governor Mike Parsons signs a tax cut into law. The new law exempts Social Security benefits and public pension payments from income tax. Officials say it will reduce state general revenue by more than $300 million annually. And some kids in Pittsburgh got the chance to put their strength to the test. It was for the Eagle Rising Challenge. The event provided a chance for residents to meet and compete with local fire, police, EMS, and military personnel. The goal of the activities, not only to connect with the community, but also to show the new generation's essential careers. That's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door.
And as you head out the door, it's chilly as we start our day, but it's going to warm up. Upper 80s, low 90s, mostly clear skies, maybe a passing cloud or two, and we'll hold on to those clear skies and warm temperatures as we go through the evening, eventually making it back into the upper 60s, lower 70s tonight. We'll go low 90s tomorrow, partly cloudy, a few stray storms in the morning for southeast Kansas, mid to upper 90s Wednesday, and then we'll see some scattered thunderstorm chances to close out the week and head into the upcoming weekend.
Well, coming up today at noon, we're making cauliflower and broccoli salad in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
And your morning news continues on KOAM with CBS Mornings. The latest from London as President Joe Biden makes a stopover on the way to the NATO summit in Lithuania. That's up next on CBS Mornings.
Or you can switch on over with us on Fox 14, where your only local morning news continues. This morning, We're going to introduce you to a pair of Army wives who serve in their own special way through baked goods.
Plus, KOAM's Fernanda Silva flies us to Pittsburgh for a challenge designed to introduce future generations to essential careers. That's going to wrap it up for us for now. We'll see you back here tomorrow morning at 5 a.m.
And we'll see you again today at noon.